5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, great flick on Alan Armstrong. Oh, what a beauty! Oh, what a beauty! I'm waiting all my life for that. What a screamer!
Hello and welcome to the Scarf Bagara War. Have we got a show for you? Normally that's where Nick comes in and we start having a bit of a chat, but you can see Nick's not here, so he's not going to be joining us tonight. He's taking a few weeks off. Instead, I've drafted in someone from the bench because I think I've been told that on a sporting level that's where he's always been apparently. So I'm going to draft him in. It's Steve Wright. Hey up, mate. You all right?
Hey up, Russ. How's it going?
Not bad, not bad.
Bench, I don't know. I'm on the bench at the moment. Crikey, all right. I can't even breaking hands left, right, and centre. So
yeah. What did you say? Packet crisp hands.
Yeah, crisp packet hands.
Crisp packet. Yeah, packet crisp hands. What is even that? Right, cool. I did have an intro for you. I was going to say I'm delighted to be joined by someone who's slightly less hairy and nowhere near as controversial. Just looking at you, you're not any less hairy, are you? You're just as hairy, really. Right? Should we? We've got a stellar guest lined up for you tonight. But let me just tell you, we've got some details later of how you can win a Champions 2022 County Homeless Ghost print. We'll do that later on, featuring our guest. It's Jordan Keane. Everybody knows it's Jordan Keane, don't they? I mean, I did a big thing of it during the week. Loads of county chat as normal. So. Yeah, we're absolutely delighted and buzzing to be joined by an absolute living legend. He's won 2 league titles. He's captained County to a Cheshire Snr Cup victory and scored goal of the season last season versus Needham Market. He's become Mr. Reliable and he's an absolute fan's favourite. Please welcome Jordan Keane. Hey up, mate. How's it going?
How are you? I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Good, mate.
So yeah, cheers for coming on, mate. It's a real pleasure for us to welcome you to the podcast. Yeah, we've got loads of questions for you. There's comments that you can't see, I can see. There's probably loads of comments going to come through. I'll just stick a load of them up as we get questions because there's going to be a lot of love for you. I don't know if you can see that on your phone. Yeah, we'll just crack on. The first question I've got for you, what is it like being a fully fledged county legend? There you go. Kick off with that.
Fully fledged. Yeah, really, it's an honour to be associated with that sort of title, but yeah, just carry on as normal. Yeah,
well, I mean, it's difficult for us to accept that, just carry on as normal because you've won the league, you've won the 2 titles with us. And as a fan base, I mean, you probably got the sense from it, at the celebrations. There's a lot of love for you, isn't there? How does that feel? Like, the fan base having that much love for you.
Yeah, it's massively appreciated. I think that was one of the main things coming here as well. Like, it was a case of trying to find a home within the football, which I think I found as well. Fully took to me, and I've taken to them. Obviously, that comes part and parcel of winning, and that's what ever since I've been here. That's sort of what we've done. We had the North, which we won, which didn't have to get off to the best of start, end up winning the league. The year after was the first year in the conference, doing really well, and was unlucky to miss a COVID scenario on the points per game scenario, which was just bonkers. And then we went into lockdown, back into the new regime, obviously starting Simon Wilson and stuff, so that was a different adventure as well. And I thought we had a successful season that season at the playoffs, and then obviously last season we managed to win the league. So yeah, to be fair, it's always been on the up, so I've had many downtimes in a county shirt.
I'll touch on something you said there actually, because it's I find it's crucial. You say about like finding your home and that. There's lots of footballers in the past present and what have gone, you know, they haven't found the home. And I find that, like you say, you find your home with Stockport, but that's probably where you're playing your best football, isn't it? Because of that, people go to different clubs and don't really feel it there, and don't reach their full potential. So it's quite, and that just doesn't just run in football. That's across the board as well. You know, every sport, you've got to find where you feel comfortable in playing, where you supported. And like you say, I think everyone at County now, I'll reiterate what Russ says. Everyone thinks you're brilliant, mate, and keep doing what you're doing, mate. Absolutely.
Nice one.
Yeah, we'll try not to be too fanboy with you. You know what I mean? We'll try and tone it down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just going back to where you are from. Are you from Stoke or that sort of region? So you say duck at the end of every sentence.
No, I'm from Nottingham.
Oh, you're from Nottingham, right? So are you Forest or Notts then?
Funny enough, I played for Derby as a kid, so like I was one going to school. Like all my mates are Nottingham Forest fans, which is obviously they've had a bit of success this summer for the first time in a while. And Derby are on the other side. But obviously, I played for Derby for 3 or 4 years as a kid. So I went the opposite way. I was more of a Derby fan, to be honest, which is a bit unpopular in Nottingham.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Who was a gaffer at Derby when you were there?
It was the first one would have been Paul Gould. So it was around that. So I was a kid when they had the successful amount of points in the Premiership. I think they finished on like 11 points.
Right.
So I stayed there until I was 16, and then I moved to Wolves with basically the academy staff at Derby went to Wolves for like the year before the apprenticeship scheme started. I went to Wolves for 2 years and went to Stoke for 2 years. So I moved around a little bit when I was younger, which I think helped me in the long run because I moved out when I was 16. Never really went back. I stayed at home a little bit, but not like I never really went back home.
So your parents did a lot of driving around basically before you were 16,
I had a younger brother that was at Derby as well. And my older brother was at Derby at the same time. So there's 3 of us within. So he was up there every night, basically, pretty much Monday to Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday he was there as well. So he did a lot of driving.
Yeah. Having had my son who played for a bit, he played from the ages of 6 to 12 in the end, and he stopped. But even just having one lad do it, it's just driving around everywhere. It's just a nightmare. So I big up to your dad. Fair play to your dad for that.
Yeah. He does the mileage now, so he'll come up to gate whenever I'm playing or whatever. He'll always come up after work or on a Saturday. He'll fly up. It's a little easier now living up here, but he'll stay over at mine now, so it's a bit easier for him.
Yeah, fair play. So when you were that young, did you realise? I mean, I know it's a county thing, but we'll just talk about Derby for a second. Did you realise when you were that young how big Derby was, the football team? Because they were massive at one point, weren't they?
They were massive, yeah. I think obviously I didn't go into. I was like 12, I think it was. So quite late, really, for a kid. But I just thought it was. I remember thinking this is a big club. It was all the facilities were brand new back then as well. So it was a different level, and I thought this is massive. But they brought players through as well, so there was always that end goal with Derby, where, like they did bring players through the academy and stuff. So there was always that limelight. It wasn't a case of being at up this end. You're not at Man United at the time, or you're not at a Liverpool, say, but you're still at a club what had all the best facilities, and they brought young players through. So there was always that.
Yeah. It's quite refreshing that you weren't a United fan, or you weren't, well, just United really.
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Oh right, okay, fair. Right, okay.
So from no association to Liverpool. My dad's a Liverpool fan, so I'm a Liverpool fan.
Right, fair dues. I mean, yeah, that's not as bad. I just hate United fans. That's all. That's just me though. So you know. Just fast forward a bit, and we'll probably jump around anyway because that's what we do on this show. There's no planning.
Go off on tangents everywhere.
Yeah, we've got this reputation of doing no research and having no planning. I've done a bit of research, don't worry. Plus, we know you anyway. So, you went on that Jamie Vardy Academy, didn't you? What was that like?
Well, it was class. I signed for Worcester, bought me from Nuneaton, and then 2 months later they went bust, and I signed a 2-year deal. I was like, well, where does that leave me, sort of thing? And they sort of just said, like, look, let's just get to the end of the season, and we'll sort it out in the off season. And then lo and behold, like Jamie Vardy's academy approached me and was like, "Would you like to come on in the summer?" And I was like, perfect timing. So obviously I was a free agent going into it off the back of the Worcester thing, which is bad for Worcester, but I was thinking personally it's great. Went into the Vardy thing, it was just like a sort of a case of going back to where he was when he was like 17, 18, like getting the best stuff. Obviously I'd been in non-league then for like 4 or 5 years, and I thought, right, this is a real chance. Getting the best, training at Man City's training ground, getting all the best food, the best coaches. We was getting like my coaches was Alan Stubbs and his assistant, and it was like we had like I think it was 4. Was it 3? There was 3 teams of like lads out of non-league, and we all played at the end. We played against each other during the week and trained, and then at the end of the week we all played against a different team to like showcase against loads of scouts, which was good. It was good experience to say I was a free agent and stuff. Enjoyed every minute of it.
Did anything come off the back of that? Did you get any deal or?
Obviously, Alan Stubbs was my coach, and to be fair to him, like full credit to Alan Stubbs, like he passed me around like head of recruitment in Scotland, and like a few calls happened here or there. But to be honest, nothing came off the back of. There was a lot of interest from the National League North and teams like that, and I was just saying no. I'm giving it as long as possible to be like, you're not a free agent every summer. You don't get this chance every summer. So I left it as long as possible, but nothing came to fruition. But like I say, you got to meet like Alan Stubbs, who's been a class defender, passing on knowledge. He was like helping me out and like gave me his number and stuff. So it was like, even that alone was enough to come away from that thinking I've had that experience.
Yeah, and now, well, we'll come on to managers a bit later. But now you're playing for another really good defender who's played in a League Cup final, Charlie.
Yeah.
What's that like in training, learning from him?
That's tactically just like one of the best. I think we had it with Jim where like it was so in like attention to detail was like through the roof, and Gaffer's the same, like cut from the same cloth of like tactically aware and of everything and sees everything firsthand. Like, he doesn't need to watch anything back; he sees it there and then, and like he stores it, and you know full well like at half time, full time, whatever he's saying, it's the truth. Like he's seen it, and he trusts his eye, and he knows what he's saying.
Yeah. So I don't want you to put your foot in it or anything. I don't want you to put you in an awkward position. But you obviously mentioned Charlie and Jim there. How does that differentiate with Rusk? Because in terms of, are they opposites or is it the same? What was Rusk like?
I feel like Russ was like obviously it was his first managerial job, and his training was first class. You can see why he's got the job with England, like the FA, what he's going to do. Like his training, his coaching was unreal, and I think I tried picking his brains a few times. Obviously, that's what I want to go into. Like I did my B when I was like 21,
right?
And I was picking his brains. His coaching was it was too much to even understand what was going on. Like, to process and think, I could use that eventually, or I could wrap my brain around that session. As a player, it was like his training sessions were very, very good. But I don't know. You'd have to maybe ask him. Like I'd like to sit down and say see what his thoughts were on like the difference between coaching and managing. Like obviously that's what I want to go into eventually as well. Whether it was a lot different to manage than just coaching and leaving it to someone else, but his coaching, like you can't question his coaching.
Yeah. There's a big difference. I mean, I'm a lot older than you, Jordan. So when I was growing up, it just seemed to be managers, and then what started to creep in then was head coaches.
Yeah.
So, and then all of a sudden now there's kind of like this balance between you've got to be really good at man management as well as the coaching, haven't you? And your coaching's got to be tip top. So are you doing any managing now in terms of like under 13s or anything like that?
Well, before I came to Stockport, obviously I did the season with Boston, but like before that, for 2 years, I was with. So when Notts were in League One and then went into League Two, I had the under 14, so I would have been like 23 or 4.
Right.
No, I'd been 22, 23. I had their under 14s for a couple of years, and I loved it. But I was part time at the time, and Boston went 3 nights a week, and it just I was letting Notts County down at the time, saying like, I can't make Fridays or I can't make a Wednesday, say. And I just thought, if I can't give my all to it, then I can't be in it, because someone's getting let down somewhere down the line. I'm not going to miss football training because I'm not old enough to start prioritising coaching. But it's definitely something now. Well, the level what we're playing at, I can't really take my eye off the playing side. But like in my head, I've got a time frame of where I'd think, right, I need to fully start coaching again and go down that route of trying to find a career in that.
Absolutely. You can't just leave it. You can't leave it there. You're looking for the future, aren't you, as well? But it's just balancing your time. And I believe you've got a young family, aren't you, as well? So trying to prioritise everything.
Exactly.
But it's like juggling, isn't it?
Yeah. So I imagine if I was to say that, obviously, my mother-in-law helped look after the dog, but we got a dog. And then we found out we was pregnant like 3 weeks later. And it was like, just caught like little cockapoos, wild, like lovely dog, but wild.
Whilst you've got that dog, do you mind doing this as well?
Yeah, you got the dog. I'm just going to go out and coach 3 nights a week. Like, it didn't really work at the time, but it's definitely something what I'm going to go into because obviously my little one now is turning 3, so she'll be in school soon.
Yeah.
But like I say, I think I'll always find time to get into that.
Yeah, definitely. And you started at a good age. What do you say? You A for B at 21, 22?
21, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good anyway. Have you got ambitions to get to pro? Have you? Is that the aim?
I've always said that. Like people always say, "Well, why don't you do your A? Why don't you do A?" And I always think like you've got to be within a role. Not that I'd feel like a fraud. I just feel like I want to be within a role, coaching, have a team, and then I want to be doing my A while coaching. So I just think I don't want to be going into my A whilst I'm not coaching because it don't really.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely something what I'll go for. But yeah, pro's the aim. But they're expensive. Some of the next courses, like the money booked up with them, so I'd need to start saving for that pro, I reckon.
Yeah, but it stands you in good stead though, doesn't it? Because you're a bona fide League Two player, aren't you?
Yeah.
So in terms of reputation, and it does count for a lot when you're doing your badges and when you're going for jobs. If you're a League Two player rather than a National League player, and you've got UEFA A or a pro, then you're going to get more. Surely more doors will open for you.
Yeah, 100%. I always think it's who you know, but like at the end of the day, I would have to back that up. So I would hate to get a job or a coaching role and say like I can do X, Y, and Z, and then when I come to it, I can't do it. Like, I'd want to rights first before going.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The experience in coaching's got to match the qualification, hasn't it? And at the time that you spend doing that. Yeah. I mean, you've when you say it's who you know, I mean, you already know Charlie, and you know in terms of heights of football, but your father-in-law as well is Gary Bowyer, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, to be fair, he's always helped. Like, he's always pushed me in that direction. Like, he was one of the people that was pushing me when I come out of full-time football after Stoke and signed for Alfreton part-time. He was one of them, along with my missus, like, right, go get your coaching badges done, get them done young while you can, and start coaching. But to be fair, I think he would always help me out coaching-wise and point me in the right direction. Like, I'll always pick his brains with certain things because like, there's so many roles within football now as well, where it's like you've got director of football, head of recruitment. But there's not just coaches. Like, there's a lot more of a wider scale what you could actually do. So it's trying to find the right role within it and pick people's brains to see what they think as well. And he's always been like a soundboard for that. And any sort of advice within football, he just never signed me, which is a problem. So that's I don't think that'd ever happen.
No.
You any good at any other sports, Jordan? Do you play anything out of season, bit of golf or?
I've not taken to golf, but like I like basketball.
Right.
Done a little bit of boxing.
Yeah.
But I'd say if I was to watch sport or like participate in the sport, it would be boxing or basketball.
Yeah, keen boxing guy. I like boxing, definitely. 100%.
You're cricket, aren't you, Righty?
Yeah, well, I was just explaining to Russ off the show. I said, at the moment, I've done something similar to yourself. I've got unofficial world record. I passed my level 2 cricket coaching when I was 16, but I couldn't get insured until I was 18, unfortunately, because I had an injury. So I thought, you know what, I'll go through it and that. But at the moment, I've just recovered from a broken thumb, and now I've just got to go and smash my other hand up. So I might have to have an operation next week. So, yeah, honest to God, I need wrapping in cotton wool. Honestly, I'm getting to that point now. I'm thinking I'm 38 now. I think these brittle bones are catching up on me.
Mate, I'm 41, and honestly, it's like the warranty runs out on your body at 40. It's just things just start happening, and you're like, what is going on?
On the plus side, I'm not playing cricket on Saturday, so I'll be coming down to watching you boys play. So, the plus side, mate Mike's birthday, so we're all getting on board. I think 9 o'clock in Stockport Witherspoons, I think. Oh dear me.
So Keno, the move to county then, how did that come about? When did you first hear about that, and how did it sort of pan out?
I just got a call at home. Obviously, I was discussing with Boston, like, what's next sort of thing, and they were just sort of saying, like, yeah, we'll keep you on board. But it was the first time I was under 24 where, like, the clubs can just re-engage you and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, well, I'm going to sit and wait to see what comes available. And I just got a call off my agent, who I think knew Jim at the time. Well, he knows Jim, and he just said, "Do you fancy Stockport?" And I just said, "Yeah, why not?" And he was like, "Right, we're going up tomorrow." So we went up, and we went up. If I don't know if you remember, Ashley Hemmings, he came with us as well because he was going to sign with us from Boston. So we both went up with Kev to meet Jim. We sat and was talking for hours in his office about football and plans and where he sees us both playing. And then I just thought, I remember looking, well, obviously I played against Stockport and seeing the fans, but then when I came to the stadium, it was empty. And I thought, this is huge. Like obviously, Jimmy explained like the club and the plans going forward. At that time, I'd never thought like, right, we'll be champions come in 10 months' time. But obviously, they got into it was semis the year before, so I thought, right, if we can add to that as a bonus. And I thought the recruit, like Jim's recruitment, that was really good. But yeah, it came up that summer, and obviously I signed, and I think obviously Ash went to Salford, but that's how I found out. I think I didn't take into consideration how far away it was. Obviously, the first time, the excitement driving up to go meet, like, to talk about a deal or whatever, but like, it's not too far. But let me tell you, I was travelling it for like 2.5 years, and it was a long journey. It was 2 hours plus, and I just thought, but it came like I got the reward in the end. Obviously, we won the league that year, and then obviously I had we had Matilda that summer, and then I carried on travelling. And to be fair, everybody goes, I don't know how you did it when you had a little baby and stuff. I thought, but it gave me 2 hours in the car at least every day. And back. So, but I half enjoyed the drive, but then eventually it got. The more the club was progressing, I couldn't carry on driving back and forth and wearing myself thin with that. I needed to get to the next level. As much as the club's moving forward, I needed to move with it, so I couldn't carry on travelling. And I think that's when we decided to move up.
Yeah.
So just a couple of things to unpick here, because people who watch football generally don't realise the operationally how it works as for players as human beings. You see fans of Premier League clubs who just see players as like assets and commodity almost. That's a massive upheaval on your life, isn't it? I take it you had a job as well when you were travelling up and down every Tuesday, Thursday, was it?
Yeah, every Tuesday, Thursday. So, well, we had Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, but sometimes Jim would give me the day off. And obviously, because we did well that season, we were winning most Saturdays. They got most Mondays off.
Right.
But yeah, me and my little brother had like our own little like dog walking business. So we'll do it. Obviously, it wasn't, but it was a case of like we did our own hours, and like it was as busy or as busy as what we wanted it to be. But that became too much. Like, I'd get back at like 11 o'clock at night after training, and then you're up the next day. Like going out walking, and then, like the days when you're training, going out walking, getting back home, having a bit of lunch, getting in the car, travelling, coming back, and then you're not back in till 11, half 11 at night, and you've not really seen anybody or spoke to anybody. So like it took its toll, and then eventually we just sort of like knocked that on the head. Well, I sort of just passed it over to him and said he could just do it, and I was straight on football and had the morning at home with, especially as soon as like George went on maternity leave, I'd prefer to stay at home with Georgia and the baby instead of going out walking dogs, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. And you just said then you joined in the season that we went up as champions.
Yeah, so I think
it feels like you've been here a lot longer than that.
I was actually thinking that as well. I was like, I'm trying to do my maths, like trying to work it out, but yeah.
So hoping made it like draws it out a little bit more, doesn't it? So like that makes it feel a lot longer. It does for me anyway.
Yeah. Bloody hell. Right, yeah.
So how are the lads coping? Well, not so much coping, but how are they dealing with the fact that there's 5,000 season ticket holders this year. The bookies have got favourites for going up. Is it taking it in the stride, or are they just not even really paying much attention to it, just cracking on?
I think just take it in your stride. Like, I think with the new, like, it was weird, like going back to the COVID thing, like when we didn't have no fans, like the lads what had been there under the fans, and at this stage, like I reckon our highest crowd would have been 7,000 or 8,000. So like nothing on what last season was, but we was like, look, at this place like gets rocking, especially like when we scored important goals in that season when there was no fans. It was like, oh, it would have made it 10 times better if the fans were here, or the Cheadland that was full. But I think lads are excited about it. Obviously, everybody wants to play in front of a lot of fans, and if there's 5,000 sold already, and it's a case of you're doing well with what it was like last year, you're selling it out on Tuesday nights and Saturdays. It's what everyone wants to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. No, excited. Can't wait for it to kick off. How many days is it now, Russ?
Oh, I don't know.
I'll put you on the spot there. Have a massive
31. 31 days. I'm not that, I'm going to say I'm not a date nonce like that. I don't know.
That's how you get locked up, Russ.
Yeah, I know, but if Nick was there, he'd probably go 31. And so people have countdowns and something. I'll tell you what, Jordan, we'll puncture this with questions that are coming in. Here's one. Who's got the best dress sense in the squad? And then to flip it over, who's got the worst?
Bearing in mind, we have seen photos of yous all out on that end of the season.
Yeah.
So just bearing in mind, we have seen yous.
And also bear in mind, I'm 41 and he's 38, so our opinion doesn't count anyway. So
The best dress sense, I reckon the person who goes for it the most would be Reedy. He wears some rascal stuff, but he does take attention to his fashion. Mini dresses, bright and loud, so always bright colours. But who's best dressed? Ash Palmer. Ash Palmer's always looking nice and smart. Like even on like days into training, like you won't very rarely see him coming in like in shorts and t-shirt. Like always smartly dressed. Worst dressed, I'll put myself up there. I'll be honest. Like this is probably the best you'll get off me. I'll get up in shorts and t-shirt and flip flops, not bothered. And like it's a bit of an effort if I have to get changed. So it's like I'll put myself up there as worst dressed. Yeah.
Well, listen here. Look, right, so this is something I found in my wardrobe earlier. Right, see if you can guess the player that wore this. The glove hat. So you went straight over Russ's head as well. It was Mario Balotelli. Do you ever remember when he wore this?
Oh,
so
yeah.
If you have to nip away in 5 minutes, it's only because I'm just setting off some fireworks in my bathroom. All right, so don't worry about that.
Well, going back to your dress sense, you're destined for a life of being wearing tracksuits anyway, aren't you? If you're going to be coaching all the time, so
I'm not. But that's one of them. If someone says that, if you're ever going to be a man or a tracksuit, 1,000% tracksuit.
Yeah. So how did you got married recently, didn't you? How was getting dressed for that? Because that's an effort putting a suit on and everything.
I had one job. Like if George was there, I had one job for organise the whole wedding, and that was to put my suit out and obviously like the best man, ushers, and like father and father-in-law sort of thing. And I had 2 years to do it. I'd say up until the final week, it still weren't sorted. I asked George for help to sort it out. So like that's where I'm at with that sort of stuff.
Fair dues.
But I looked all right. So like 2 years worth of planning, it works out all right.
Yeah.
Did you explain to her? You got your dog walking to do, you've got your training to do, you got your driving to do.
Another one's coming. Which fixture are you most looking forward to next season?
I would have said if Gary was still at Salford, I would have said Salford, but that's not the case. For me, maybe Mansfield, like just because it's back home. I reckon a few of the lads will come to that. It's localish. Like, the Notts County one away for me was a big one last year and the year before. But yeah, Mansfield's. All of them, to be fair. Like if it's like football league, it's new. So like every game's a big game. So it's a case of turning up for every single one. But I'll definitely say Mansfield away, and then home games. You're looking at it's getting the crowds in. Like there's going to be big away fans like Bradford away, Bradford at home. Like I'd imagine that'll be a tasty game. It's just wherever like the atmosphere is, like everyone's playing in front of a big atmosphere.
Yeah. Are you or any of the lads? Well, particularly you, really. Are you aware of some of the rivalries we've had in the past when we were in the league?
In the league, probably not so much now.
Right, because there are some tasty ones in League Two, to be fair. So Rochdale, Bradford, Crewe, Tranmere, these are all teams that, I mean, obviously before your time, we used to play them every season, didn't we? Right, Ian? It used to be big crowds.
Really.
It used to be great, you know. So there's those to look forward to, and we will travel in numbers. And just because we've got 5,000, I think it's 5,500 season tickets now. We've sold.
I think it's gone now. Yeah,
gone through. Getting away tickets is going to be a scramble for us, and I can imagine near enough every away end being full.
Yeah,
I can really see that.
Our away support's unreal. Like even last season 4, like we went to some grounds and like we took over. So I'm sure it'll be the case again this year.
Yeah. It will be.
We've got to organise a new minibus, haven't we? I was talking to Russ about it. Said we've got to order another one because everywhere's just getting booked up, isn't it? It's just like, how are we going to get down there?
Just got to get the tickets now.
I know, yeah, that's it.
It's worse than getting Glastonbury. It's worse than getting Glastonbury tickets, isn't it? It's going to be worse than that, man. But yeah, it's going to be mental. I've got to mention though, just on a personal note, and I've said this a few times in here, the worst away game I've been to, where as a fan it was just horrible, was the Wrexham away. You know, the 3-0.
Try being a player.
Well, I know, yeah. Well, I can't imagine what it was like for you, but we weren't stood there like berating you lads, because the amount of credit you built up over, especially you, Sam, Ash, and Ben anyway, but the other players as well. The amount of credit you built up, I wasn't stood there annoyed at you lot. I was stood there annoyed that we were getting beat, but we just couldn't do anything from a fan perspective because they were just goading us.
Yeah, they were giving it, weren't they, in the corner?
Yeah, they were proper giving it, and it was
that game. I remember walking off after that game thinking it didn't feel as the Chorley game in the Conference North. It didn't feel like that because then we thought we're done, it's finished. Whereas this, it was still in our hands. So like, it was a case of like we just need to do our job and it's done. So, but Chorley, it was like we're relying on elsewhere. It's a case of if, buts, and maybes. But no, it weren't a nice moment being out there on when it was 3-0.
No, I interviewed Dave Challoner in the King's Tap in Stockport a few weeks ago. I told him the same thing, and he said, "Well, it's different for you, for him, and you as players because you knew you had it under control. For me, they caught us. I've been bricking it for weeks, Keno. Honestly, fucking bricking it, and they caught us. But I mean, it was all good in the end. And even going on to that Halifax match, I don't know about you, but it felt comfortable. Was that the same for you, lads? I mean, especially when after Collar had scored the second goal, did you all kind of relax then?
I think, definitely. I think obviously after the first 25 in the Wrexham game, we had control. We just needed to score. And I think it would have been a completely different game. The Torquay game, I think it was one of our better performances all season, but we just didn't. We weren't scoring, so it was a little bit like, come on, it needs to come. That we need to score. We need to score. We kept bombarding them, and we won that game. And then Halifax, to be honest, was probably the easiest one. I don't know what it was, but I think it was just written that we was going to win it. So we all went out there knowing what the case would be at the end of it. It was at home, like it was a lot of fans. It was a case of like we need to win. And
we've discussed this. It's I'm sorry for interrupting, but it's like the worry becomes pre-match. Yeah. When these guys kick off, it's like the worry just disappears.
Yeah.
It's like we've discussed this before, and it's like I don't know what it is, but like the pent-up anxiousness inside of us all is like going 100 mile an hour, and as soon as you kick off, it's like, oh, you can relax now. And it's bizarre. I've never known anything like it.
Yeah, I think that's what you do. Is that like you can do that as a player, nerves. You're anxious about the game coming up, and you think, how could it play out? But at the end of the day, like you rely on all what you've worked on and do your normal job. Like 9 times out of 10, we know we're good enough to beat anybody. So it's a case of just rely on what you're good on, and then do your normal job.
Yeah, that's what I tried telling myself. We're top of the league for a reason. I'm going back to the Wrexham game now and the build up to that. We're top of the league for a reason. If we carry on playing the way we know we can, then it will be okay. And straight after the Wrexham game, that's when we did. It's almost like there was a switch flipped. But I agree with you with that Wrexham game. First 25, we were in control, weren't we? They just scored at crucial times, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think a case after that as well, because like we'd gone behind in games before where you're thinking we'll still win. Like keep playing our patterns, do our normal stuff, we'll still win the game. But like the gaffer said on the day, to be fair, was like you played the occasion, not the game. And it's easier said than done because like there was a big atmosphere, there's a rivalry there, two big clubs, like both big, like well backed. It was all season like this rivalry between Wrexham and Stockport. But like if you strip it back and take the emotion out of it, like we went 1-0 down, we still could have came back quite easily, won the game, judging off that first 25 minutes. But I don't know what it's like as a fan. Obviously, like probably similar to the staff. Like as soon as we go on the pitch, like you helpless. Really, obviously fans get behind you. Like I think the Bolton game for me was. I've said this before. Like obviously when we went the amount of goals down, what we did, and the fans were still cheering when the ball, like, still picked the ball out our own net. Still had that belief. Like well, these could have quite easily turned on us. Like we're like 10 minutes in with it. We're getting beaten. It's a case of the fans are still cheering. It's not the night where everybody's planned to be, but I reckon that played a massive part in them clawing it back and going on to win the game. So the fans do play a big part in how they react in certain scenarios. But I'd imagine you lot know that yourselves.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot on the podcast, and the Hatters 83 group as well. They instill that and they try to drive that. So they've done a really good job last season, probably into next season as well. Just picking up something you said there about patterns of play. Is that likely to? I mean, it's a stupid question. It's a loaded question, but are your patterns of play likely to change as we move up into League Two?
I think your stock values stay pretty much stay the same, depending on what formations you play. Like every good team have patterns of play and how they want to play and implement what they want to do. But moving up a league, it's into the unknown. Like you don't know what other teams are going to play. How are they going to stop you playing? But if we stick to our values and what we're good at, then I'd imagine there's nothing to say we can't go on again and do the same as what we did last season.
Because obviously the gaffer would have brought the players in that he wanted to match his style of play and integrate them into an already winning Stockport team, aren't they? So I can see it being I'm excited. What can I say? I'm excited.
Are you excited as a player, as one of the four legends, shall we say?
Yeah, it's hard not to be. Like I think, but for us maybe it's a little bit different. It's a case we've been here a while. It's a case of like enjoying the journey, but like still remember like you everybody's on the same level. Like we're all players at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you've been here 5 minutes or 5 years. It doesn't matter. You have to perform on the pitch. So it's getting your head down and getting your head round. Right, we're in League Two now. There's different opposition, more challenges. There's more players coming in. There's different competition, and I think that's credit to us for like doing that throughout the season with the players coming in. It's a good group. It's a welcoming group, but like the competition is rife at the minute. So it's a case of getting your head down and thinking, right, I need to compete.
Yeah, and I guess waiting for your chance as well, which I'm sure a lot of County fans hopefully would agree with me. Every time you've got your chance, you've took it. You're like Mr. Reliable, as I said at the top of the show. Yeah,
definitely. I don't. Maybe sometimes I think people come across too nice and too patient to wait for your chance, but I think you've got to be ready when you come in. And I feel like I've shown that and proved that. But like for me, like I'm always looking for. Like, I want to be playing 45 games a season, and I know that I'm good enough to do that. So it's a case of now me proving that and doing it this season. That's one of my goals.
So you're happy with Barrow first up? Because obviously that will reunite you with John and Bennett, won't it, up front? Yeah,
that'll be fun. I reckon something right, because it's just one of them. Like with Runes and Bennett coming back, it'll be a good game. I'm not into none of that. It was like with Warby and stuff. Warby loves the chat pitch. Like when he comes back, like loves having like obviously I have mates with Warby and stuff, but it's one of them. Like when you go on the pitch, like it's all forgotten. Like it's just 11v11. Like, there it's a case of just getting the job done.
Does he try and get Did he try and get in your ear? Because I know with cricket, with being like a batsman and stuff like that, you get a bit of chirp around the field and that try and get in your ear roll and that. Is that the same when you're on the field, or is it just that down to certain characters and that?
It depends on the character. But I know like Warby, for example, like he'll just like try like have a full blown conversation with you, and I think he's like attacking players can do it because like they can switch off and like go into that, just drift into different areas. But defender, like you're on your, like you got to be on your game, you got to be focused. Where Warby and certain attackers will try to have a chat with you and like just try to get anything to put you off. Like it's clever in a certain way, but like as soon as you buy into it, like they'll be gone the other way, and you're thinking, "It sold me there."
Yeah, absolutely. Keep switched on. Absolutely.
That's top. That trying to have a chat with you. I just wonder if our strikers do that, because obviously Paddy Madden's very experienced. What's Paddy Madden's sort of? Has he got any tricks that he does as a striker? Do you know? Because you'll defend against him in training, won't you?
Just runs riot, like like you wouldn't want to play against him because I put him down as like he wouldn't give you a second. Like I know it's silly, really, as a start off. Like you're thinking some strikers will let you have the ball and like you'll break out, and you think they won't chase or they won't press you back. And Paddy's one of them. He will chase you down until he either wins the ball back, gives a foul away, or he takes you on the ball. So it's a case of like he'll just keep chasing. And to be fair to him, he does it for 90 minutes. But he doesn't blow up. I can't see him like having little chats with defenders, but I think he's just one of them. Like he knows he'll let the centre out there and for a game straight away. Yeah,
the engine that he must have on him, because what is he? He's in his 30s now, isn't he? I think.
Yeah.
And how fit that lad is. I mean, he was my player of the year, and I voted your goal for Needham Market as well, goal of the year. We'll come on to that in a second. So he was my player of the year because his work ethic, like you say, is just off the chart, isn't it? I've never seen anything like it in live. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's top level, and there's a reason like he's played at the level of what he has, and I think it leads by an example in a certain way for like, well, if Paddy Madden can do it and Paddy Madden can run around for this amount of time, and why shouldn't another person be doing it or a younger lad doing it? So it's really high in that regard.
Because we are getting now. I mean, we're going into League Two. We're getting into. Might sound stupid, but in terms of football and the pyramid, we're getting to the right top end, aren't we now? Of the best players in the country. You know, the best 72 teams, 92 teams in the country. So, Paddy, it's phenomenal. How good you lads are at the game. It really is.
Reminds me of my work ethic trying to get to the bar in the Cheadle end. Should see me sneaking in and out of queues like there's no tomorrow. Absolutely.
Oh, it's a nightmare, isn't it? That's the thing, right? When we were in National League North and it was, we're getting 2,500, 3,000. You could get a pint. It was quite nice. Now it's an absolute nightmare, but it's good because it's full. But it's a nightmare because it's bad. So when you joined, then I mean, a lot's happened at the club since you joined. What are the main differences you can see? Obviously, you were training 2 or 3 nights a week, and now it's full time. And what's the biggest changes you can see?
You know what? People ask us quite a lot. It's a case of like until you sit back and think about what's happened and what you've been doing. And it weren't a case. Obviously, I moved up and I ended up driving past where we used to train at St Paul's School by Wivenshaw, and I remember thinking I used to travel this far to train on a 4G for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Tuesday, Thursday nights, and now it's a case of we've got the best facilities you could possibly imagine for our level and probably up to the championship. And I think it's just a case of just rolling with it and enjoying it. And then when it's going to come to an end one day, and it's a case of then I'll probably look back and think, that was the journey. You started there and you finished there, and everything in the middle. But there's been the change in the training ground. It's a case of we used to wash our own kit. It was a case of everything's just polar opposite, but we succeeded at both. So it's a case of we've made the most out of both scenarios, which is good. We know how to do it on an hour and a half. If you spoke to Jim, we'd do shape. And a lot of part-time clubs and the players would be like, "Why are we doing shape? We're only here Tuesday, Thursday. Why are we doing tactical work?" But everyone knows the importance of it. So come the end of the season, that half an hour every Thursday night or every half an hour every Tuesday, Thursday adds up from the end of the season. That's probably why I won the league. So it's hard to pinpoint one main difference. There's a massive difference in where it started and where it is at the minute. And I'm sure if you spoke to the owner and the directors and stuff like that, they've probably got bigger plans coming forward. So it's a case of just rolling with it and enjoying the ride. I'd imagine with like for the fans, it must be surreal seeing where it was. Like obviously I joined Stockport in the Conference North, so I take Stockport at face value in the Conference North, like the Conference North club. Like I'm a Conference North player at the time, but it's not until you learn the history and like where the club's been and what, like say you support them for 25 years, you fans are used to Football League Championship, and I was used to them being in the Conference North. Now we're looking ahead, whereas like it must be exciting and a bit of relief to see that the fans are getting that back.
Yeah. We often quote a James lyric: "If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor."
Yeah.
And we've seen. It's 31 years I've been watching county. Yeah. So yeah, I'm 41. God, that sounds depressing. But yeah, I've been watching them that long, and I've seen the championship days, and we get a bit. So a lot of fans get a bit snooty about it. We should be in the league, but we were down there for a reason. We consolidated. We built it all up back with Jim, and then Stock came in because of that and invested. And it's, I'm really pleased for you players as well, because you're getting like a chef at the training ground. Even when I'm pretty sure even before when we were in the league, we didn't have a chef at the training ground.
Yeah, honestly, but credit to Simon. To be fair, credit to Simon, credit to Mark. What are they putting this stuff in place? And it's a case of like, I'm sure Mark said plenty of times, Simon said like, we're preparing for the championship now, so we may as well put it in place now, so we're not panicking and years 3-4 years in the championship. Right, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. Foundations have already been set. Like the club know where they're going, and it's being backed and it's being well looked after in that regard.
Yeah. I think someone said, I can't remember who it was, that said that the infrastructure's got to match the results on the pitch, and they both got to grow together.
Yeah.
A bit like, I mean, weirdly enough, a bit like your coaching career and your playing career, you've got to build up that experience of coaching, and as they'll both like turbo boost, won't they, or go in parallel as you get older. And then when you leave the game, you'll be ready just to step into a coaching role, I would suspect.
Yeah.
It's the little things that make the difference, isn't it? The little attentions to detail. I think, like you say, a chef or certain ways it passes a trait. I think, you've got to gear up for the long haul, haven't you, really?
Yeah. I think other like other teams, other lads might, if we was focusing on, people might look in and say like, oh, they get too much, the big time, this or that. Like, take for example, when we got the flight to Eastleigh, it's a case of like we had so many games within a week, it was cheaper to fly. And we're going to win the league. Like it was a no-brainer. Where like other teams and other players might be going, oh, they got this, but like the chef, the X, Y, Z. But like for our group, they're that grounded and humble. Like it doesn't matter like chef there or not. Like it's just a case of, like I said, just rolling with it and taking for it what it is at face value, and not abusing it for one, and just appreciate everything what we get.
Well, if Shelley and Stock want to go in for a player, and then they go. And then there's two clubs going for the same player. They'll come and have a look at this. Look at this lovely training ground we've got here. Look at this. We've got look at the potential we've got to match these players and these teams in higher division. They're obviously going to go for that. It's an attractive club to play for, isn't it?
Like even like
in my opinion,
and it's fun, but like then you've got the ground as well. Like all the stuff what's happened to the ground, like what they've done to the ground, like the outside, the inside, like all the bars and stuff are brand new. Like it's very rare, unless you go into the championship games, like your ground and training ground isn't going to be at that level. I'd imagine, like you say, like when you're going in for a player, it's a case of like, all right, come and have a look at this. This is what you get, and it's no one can compete.
Absolutely.
No.
Benchmarks.
Let's talk about your goal then, Needham Market. I mean, you scored a few, haven't you? It's not just the only goal you've ever scored, but I mean, what a goal! I mean, someone's written in to ask a question. They private messaged me and said, they said, I'll read it out, right? When you hit the shot at Needham Market, did you really think it was going to go straight away, or did you just hit and hope and it came off? Is it the best goal you've ever scored in your career?
Did I know it was going straight in? Yeah, like I was shooting to score. Like I'm not just gonna.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Else on, like I'm shooting something. I think it was really at the time because obviously the ball got transferred, I stepped in. I think Reedy was like making a run, but he said shoot, which is very rare for a striker to say shoot. So I shot and like just instinct. And as soon as it left, I thought I'd like very like stereotype, but I knew it was going in as soon as I connected with it.
Reedy claiming an assist.
Probably, yeah.
I like it.
No, it's a good goal, mate. Good goal.
Just a couple more things then, and then we'll let you go. I'll let you go, Miver, Sam Minion. What sort of music are you into? We ask this everybody. What sort of music are you into?
So you know what, like my missus takes space because whenever like my music knowledge is atrocious. Like you could put a song on now, couldn't tell you who sings it or what it's called. Any song, and to be honest, I like music, but I'd never go to. I wouldn't go put music on. Like when I'm driving, I'd rather have a podcast on or.
Oh, look at him! What a charmer, isn't he? What a charmer!
I do enjoy music. Like don't get me wrong. Like when we're out, like enjoy like listening to music, but I don't have a type of music. I don't have a preference. So yeah, I can't really help you on that one.
Fair dues. You know what? We had Sam Minion. I always tell this one when we get someone from the club on. We had Sam Minion on the podcast in I don't know whenever Sam Minion joined. That was probably 15 years ago. And we said to him what music he'd into, and he just straight away went house music. And I was like, oh, right, okay, house. Yeah, and he went, yeah, I've even got a tattoo. And then he showed us like his house music. Have you seen his house music tattoo?
Yeah, he's got some weird and wonderful tattoos. He ended up getting he's got a dog tattoo. You'll have to show you. He's got a dog tattoo there on his arm, which he got in the summer. So he's got weird and wonderful tattoos, yes.
Nice, yeah. And just it must be a running theme in the club that people don't like music. We asked, Liam Richardson, the media guy.
Yeah.
Can't we? We asked him if he liked what music was he into, and he just went, "I don't even listen to music." I'm like, what is going on? What is going on with all these people? Bloody hell! Who's your best mate in the squad then at the club at the moment? Is it Sam?
Obviously, we've got like Sam, Ash. Obviously, really like we've got a close bunch. Stotty, like it's very weird. Like before I came here, like going back to like finding like home within football, like, I was very much like tunnel vision. Like I'm coming to football like to do well. Didn't really take that much notice of like the social side and getting to know like people might have said I'm miserable or whatever. I just thought like right, I'm driven, not here to like make pals. It's a case of like do well for myself and do well for the club and see what happens. Or like I'm a nice guy and stuff, but that's just the way I was. And then obviously when I've come here, like gradually, like if you ask the lads, like first season, I'm very much like a standoffish type person. Like, I'll wait and see. Like I'll stand back and assess what I think. Right, I'll go put myself in that circle. But like yeah, definitely like obviously the original group, which like we still go on like night out together and stuff. Like you've got Walks, who came from a wedding. You've got Warby, Bully, Adam Thomas. Ben Inchliff, so you got like the original group, which is still a tight group, and then like we've got a new group which was obviously formed when we went full time. You got like me, Ash, Minnie, Reedy, Stotty, so we was a tight group. But yeah, definitely like when you say it's definitely the ones like as you would imagine from the outside, and imagine with obviously Minnie and Ash. But yeah, we've definitely got a tight group there with. Like I say, me, Minnie, Reedy, Ash, Scotty.
I bet it was a rum stag do, wasn't it?
Oh.
Where did you go?
To Ocean Beach.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, you might have seen what I got dressed up in for the morning breakfast.
I haven't seen that, actually. No, I haven't seen that.
Basically, I got like a massive gimp hat from head to
I saw that, yeah.
That might be the new kit. It's probably just not been unveiled, has it? That's probably the new kit.
Reason I ended up walking like 40 minutes over the ocean side and went for a breakfast at like some bar around there for a couple of hours. Then just went to Ocean. But talk of the devil now.
Weird and wonderful tattoos. You having a
yes, mate. Go on, Minnie, lad.
What's going on, lads?
How's it going?
All right.
Come to crash the party. He's been boring us to death.
Oh, absolutely. Mate. We've just been talking about his stag do, innit?
Oh,
heavy.
I don't remember any of it.
Oh, he's just been telling me. He said he was wearing the new Stockport kit. Apparently, that's what he was saying.
Yeah, he's kept the costume as well that we put him in for personal use. I don't know what he means by that.
That's what we could auction it off.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
probably
we
make
could
a
do.
lot. To be fair, he's still full of sweat apparently.
Oh no!
Fucking hell.
Horrendous. What is going on? Oh dear. So what have you been up to, Minnie?
Not a lot really. Just getting back into the swing of things. Obviously, summer went very quickly, so we're just back in pre-season, aren't we? Just grafting away. So yeah, just trying to get my lungs back really.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Just saying, I'll be down watching you boys in a friendly on Saturday because I can't play cricket anymore because I can't catch.
Yeah, I caught that at the start. Yeah, pardon the pun. Yeah, I've been watching it all.
Have you?
You've been all over it.
Put it off. Best friend in football. I thought if he's not said me, I'm walking off.
He didn't explicitly say you, did he?
Oh, let me guess.
I've got to keep people every off it.
He's
So
that
you-
side of the fence. He's got splinters.
I'll leave you to anyway, lads.
Yeah,
Right.
good. Yeah,
Good to
nice
see
one,
you.
Minnie. Nice one, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
We won't
And that's
keep you
what mates are all there for. Get
Yeah.
crashing everything, innit?
The little leg.
Brilliant.
I love it. I love it. So do you all sit? When you're having dinner at training, do you all sit together on a different table to everybody else like that, or is it?
No, well, to be fair, last year it was me. We had a seating plan, obviously, because of COVID.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was me, Minnie, and Reedy were the only ones what end up sticking with it. But now we're on a big table with most of the lads, so it's very welcoming.
Very good. Very good. Right. We won't keep you any longer, mate, 'cause it sounds like you've got stuff to do. Just cheers so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, you're more than welcome to come back on if you want another time. Maybe tap up Sam to reply to your messages because I want to get him on as well.
Sam, you know, Sam. He plays this Mr. Nice Guy.
I know, yeah.
Honestly, and he's not that famous to not reply to messages either.
That's a very good point. Yeah, a very good point.
But it might be a good one to get a group one together, maybe of all the older lads as well, like the ones that won the North or whoever.
Yeah, well, I know you're going to Basque on the 24th of July, this 100 club.
Yeah, I think what I know of it's me, Ash, and Minnie, so I don't know if anybody else is going.
Well, there's loads of other players, obviously ex-players, and me and Nick, not writing. Me and Nick are going to be like presenting it and things, so it should be it should be a good night. So I'll meet you there. But yeah, if we can sort it out to get a few of you on, I've got like a bar in Stockport in the back of my garden. This bar here, we can all get in here and I'll provide the beer. And we can
He's
do a
posh,
live.
George. He's posh.
Is it posh?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I've just worked hard, righty. Like unlike some other people,
I don't feel like I've worked at all this year with injuries.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
I'll pass the message out, see how many numbers we can get for it, so we'll sort one out.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be really good. Cheers for that.
Yeah.
Right, cheers for that, mate. I'll stay in
No
touch.
worries.
Speak to you soon. Cheers for your time, bud.
Nice one, George.
Cheers.
Oh,
Bye
nice.
now. Bye.
See you
Nice one, mate. See you in a bit.
There we go. That was good, wasn't it?
Decent, that one, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like things where the ab lived a little bit, where obviously Minnie comes in and stuff like that. I love just curveballs being thrown in.
Yeah.
Adds to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's good.
It's funny because I had no questions for Minnie. It's like, what do you say? What do you ask him?
Yeah,
But hopefully we'll get him on at some point. That'll be good. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. As I say.
So you've heard today about the statue, and it's been given to a designer, isn't it? Hannah Stewart, isn't it? So he's going to be doing the
yes,
designing of the bronze statue of the Danny Bagheera. That'll be good, won't it?
that'll be good. When it's built, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a scarf around it and then take a picture. The scarf Bagheera wore. You see, I already planned that. If they'll let me.
That's
I'll do it.
almost like you're starting tradition off there,
I
because
know.
that could be like an initiation for a County fan, young up and coming County fan. Scarf on, and that's your initiation. You're in.
Yeah.
I like
Oh, we didn't ask Keane about initiations. Oh, stupid.
Loads
Innit?
of stuff.
Forget a stuff after.
Uh,
Do a bit of admin.
okay.
Basque on the 24th of July, 100 Club book launch by written by Phil Brennan. I think they're all sold out, the tickets, so you can't get tickets anymore. Completely sold out. Have you been to Basque? Oh, you wouldn't have been to Basque, would you? Because you live up in where do you live?
Just outside Blackpool. Yeah.
Oh, Cleveland, is it?
Yeah, that's the one, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Not
yeah,
for long and moving. A bit closer, just outside Preston.
all
So
right.
a little bit closer, but
Whereabouts? Just outside Preston, Garstang,
Kirkham.
Oh yeah.
Kirkham, yeah.
So
Good.
that's filed. That's AFC filed territory, no?
Literally, about down the road, from there. So I've got a few mates who are AFC Fell fans who like to give it a bit of that, and talk about Charlie and stuff. But did they really know about football? Not really. Yeah.
I used to drive through Kirkham on my way back from Wharton every day.
Yeah. There it is.
What's the shit on? Wharton is not Kirkham. Anyway, let's just move on from that. So that's that. So you can't get tickets 24th of July. So if you go to that, you'll see me and Nick. We'll be I don't know what do you call it, anchoring it, presenting it, whatever. There's loads of ex-players there, and as you heard, Keno, Minion, and Ben Hinchcliffe will be there as well, I think. I think that's what he said. Jack Taylor's fighting on the 22nd of July. It's his 6th fight. It's like an upgraded white collar boxing match. Event. He's a big County fan. So if you want to go watch that, you can. If you just tweet at Jack_Taylor_ and get in touch with him, he'll sort you out with that. And then the Hatters Half Marathon, 4th of September. Pretty sure you can still sign up to that. Go to hattershalf.co.uk. We're going to do a competition next week. So I've got Dave Conlon coming into the County Arms next week. I'm pointing up in the air for those listening on the audio podcast.
I never knew what you called your bar. So it's called the County Arms.
It's called the County Arms. Yeah, there's a little video I put on YouTube that gives you a bit of a teaser of what it's like in the County Arms. Not that anyone's interested. I just thought I'd do it because it was fun. So you can go and watch that. So Dave's going to come here next week. We're going to have a real chat about footy and coaching again and tactics and things like that, because I'm a bit of a tactic nerd. We're going to do a home ghost print so you can win the latest Champions 2022 print from Homeless Ghost Prints. Go and have a look at that because it's really, really good. And Jordan Keane is on it. So, and all the team from the season just gone. And then the week after that, we've got Ben Whitfield. So, happy days, have a chat to Ben. And then the week after that, Chris Beaumont is coming on.
There we go. Legends.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
if you're saying stuff like that, though, you look at like MSH and obviously Whitfield, who've injured for a lot last season, weren't they? So even when you're saying stuff like that, they're almost like new signings themselves, aren't they? I can't wait for this new season. It's going to be so good. So
absolutely. Yeah. So with Whitfield, it'd be a good question to ask him. He the last game he played, I think, was the Bolton match away. He scored. Yeah, but when he come back, he just couldn't get it back into the team because of how good we were doing. It's a good question to ask him.
Yeah.
He had to get his head down, like Keane said. You get your head down and crack on. We have been asked, has Righty got an LP? Because Nick normally does.
No, I've not. I came obviously with a little bit of show and tell with the old Maro Balotelli hat, which is here.
Nice.
Other than that, no, I'm not really. I have no LPs. I don't really. I'm a Spotify guy. I'm not retro enough, I believe. So, but yeah. But if you're going to go into my genre of music, I'm a bit more into like electro dance. Probably that's probably that's probably my genre. If I'm going to throw some shapes out there, which doesn't happen often, really. To be fair, yeah.
Busting some shapes on the DF.
That's
yeah. I must admit, I do like a bit of EDM myself.
Yeah,
I do like it, especially when it's mixed with some of the classic like pop tunes of the 90s.
Yeah, a nice blend of retro and EDM.
Yeah. as you can imagine, I'm an absolute cliche. I mean, mine's Indian Britpop from the 90s. And I went to Nebworth a few weeks ago to watch Liam Gallagher because that's my scene. So yeah. But I do like EDM, bit of post rock as well. Anyway, we're not here to talk about. We're here to talk about football. Please do like the video and subscribe if you haven't, or if you're on a podcast player, please do like and rate it and all that kind of stuff on whatever podcast player you are watching it on. I think we're on 5 likes at the minute. That's pretty rubbish. Yeah. Oh no, 27. So yeah, please do like it. Let's get those likes up. It helps us with our algorithms and things like that, and helps us support the channel.
Do we need to make Arcade Wow?
No, because we're not sponsored by Arcade Wow anymore.
There we go. All right, okay.
We've moved on from Arcade Wow. Just rewind. Yeah. See, that's what happens when it's live, you see. That's what happens when it's live.
It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you got a free plug. There we go.
Yeah. That's silly, that. Rod's a friend of a friend and friend of the podcast. So yeah, we're back next week. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Righty, before we go?
No, just looking forward to going watching the pre-season game next week at Nuneaton. So that'll be an early train to get into Stockport for 9. But it's my mate Mike's birthday, so we're getting a bit of a group of us going down together and having a bit of a laugh and a few drinks. So yeah, it'd be good to see some familiar faces from last season. Obviously, I don't get to see everyone all the time with me living in Blackpool, or Cleveland. It's looking forward to that. And looking forward to seeing how the new signings are getting on. That'll be interesting watch, I think is the right word.
Yeah. Talking of new signings, I spoke to What a Load of Cobblers podcast last night. So Brendan from What a Load of Cobblers, he gave us a bit of an insight. That video is available on our YouTube channel and on Anchor or whatever podcast player you're using. So that was a good insight. So they were sort of, he was very balanced actually, Brendan. But I spoke to Tom from the same podcast for their podcast earlier in the day. They were, I don't know, it's a bit of 50-50 really. There's a lot of people that were quite bitter about him leaving from Northampton. And they said we've got a really good player. So
I think there is a bit of I had a bit of a running war on Twitter to the point where I nearly set up an Instagram account, and I do not do Instagram. But I saw how much shit you were getting on the Instagram. And I was like, right, that's it. I'm in dialing it in with my one good hand from that. But yeah, they were just on. Obviously, they were putting a lot of the comments were to do with the money. Because then again, if me and you do a good job in a certain area away from football and you get promotion, you're going to be knocking on the door going, "Can I have a bit more money, please?" You know, you're doing well and you're being recognised for the job you're doing. So obviously, he's a very good player, and he's getting paid a decent amount. If you're working hard, why not enjoy the fruits of your labour of working hard? And I don't get that. So they're obviously bitter because he's going to come here on a decent contract. And they started, I'll tell you what they started doing. They started taking screenshots of when we were in.
Oh, yeah.
Off. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'll tell you what, send them a screenshot of the predictions for this year for the bookies, shall we? I thought there was a back and forth going. I thought, got bored in the end because I was talking to some people who were numb in the end. So
yeah, it's that age-old thing, and don't argue with idiots.
Yeah,
I saw that thread as well. I just thought unbelievable. I mean, okay, we have been into non-league, but anybody that knows anything about football knows we're not a league. We're not a non-league football club in terms of. Well, we're not anymore, but we're not in terms of our stature and how our infrastructure and things. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's looking good, isn't it? Because we've got, I mean, I don't want to name all of the defenders and all the players because I think we're overloaded in some areas. But, when you just think of Palmer, Barkley, Lewis, Horsfall at the back, Johnson.
Because we had some from the Cobblers, didn't we? We had some good feedback regarding Barkley's loan spell at Yeovil, didn't we? Sorry. And he was, even they were saying, he's way too good for us and that. And he's almost a bit of a forgotten man. Well, we're not forgotten, obviously, about him, but he's again really good player, come with good pedigree, didn't he? So it's interesting to see what they're going to do, whether they loan a few people out or whether they cut the books a little bit. I know there's a few transfer room. I had one. Solihull were in for, or Solihull were in for Reedy, weren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's got over the line or whether.
Well, that'd be good. I think that would be good. That'd be a good move for Reed because he needs football. He needs to play football. I think. Well, obviously every footballer does, but Solihull are a really good National League team, so he'll get chances to score goals. I think is the main thing from that.
What did you make of that striker, that big centre forward from the tallest footballer in the
Hudlin?
Yeah,
I just thought I'm a bit. I don't know. I'm a bit old school in this regard because I just think, well, if he's a tall striker, then all you're going to do is play it one-dimensional. But county fans know. We know better than anybody. Having Kevin Francis on the books, it isn't just one-dimensional when you've got a player that tall. Albeit, Big Kev was with us in Tier 3, whereas Hudlin was Tier 5. So there are levels. The biggest thing for me, not Hudlin, but it was, and I mentioned this a few weeks ago. A Grimsby podcaster was talking to a Wrexham podcaster. Sounds like the start of a joke, that doesn't it?
These three podcasters walk into a bar, county bar.
And this Grimsby podcaster said to the Wrexham lads, "You're just a pub team that's got loads of money, aren't you? Because you kick it out from the goalie, hope you get a throw it in, and then it's like header in the box." I was just like, it's about right. Then you look at how we play, and it's liquid football, isn't it? And Keane's got a foot like a traction engine, stuff like that.
All of these comparables are great.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's good, yeah. So should we wrap it up there?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do like the video. Cheers for that. Do subscribe. Cheers for that again. And watch out for us next week, Dave Conlon. We have. So yeah, cheers and. Thank you, Righty, for coming on in such short notice as well. I do appreciate it.
No, I loved it, mate. It's good to chat to. It's good because you all get to chat to these people. You see them on the field, and then you leave and go back to the boozer, or you go back home, don't you? So it's good to get a bit of a deeper insight into what goes on. Yeah, absolutely, and as well, even when it was the Champions Parade or after the Halifax game, you don't get to sit down and talk to him, do you? No. It's not like it's more like a one-on-one here, isn't it? You're asking him you're getting decent answers, isn't it? And honest answers. It's good. There's nothing sugar-coated, is there? I like it. No, and that's what we got out of Charlie as well. In the King's Tap, it was it was intimate, but there was 50 people there watching. It was a weird scenario actually, but yeah, it was good to talk to him, not having people interrupting and things like that, and getting some really good answers. So yeah. Happy days. Right. I've spoken enough. Right. Cheers for coming on, mate. And no worries. Cheers to everybody for watching. Do stay tuned next week and see you later. Cheers. Bye. Bye.